Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Not a douche.
I'm not shitting on it. It's the facts.
Okay, because they already made a junior detective, right?
Yeah, which I look like that kid grew up now. That's exactly what I'm cosplaying right now. Shoutouts. Sure.
Alrighty then.
Welcome to List. This is a show where we pluck out a name out of an all-time movie, watch it and review for review and pleasure. The movie we're scratching off the list today is 1994 comedy classic, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Yee!
A goofy detective specializing in animals goes in search of the missing mascot of the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, I remember watching this in the theater.
In 1994?
1994. 12 years old, douche.
Damn, you old.
Yeah.
1994 was actually the year of Jim Carrey. He had just had Ace Ventura come out early February. Then he followed up with a couple movies called The Mask and Dumb and Dumber, all in the same calendar year. That is crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah. I think it was his prime that year.
I only seen the second movie growing up, and I only thought that there was only one movie and it was the second movie.
The second one. Okay.
I thought that this one is the second one and the other way around.
Okay.
And then I eventually did catch it on TV and watch it, but it's still nevertheless a good time, and I'm ready to dive deep into the movie. Let's get into it, douche. Right from the jump, this movie's already telling you where it's going to go with him kicking the package down the hallway.
Yeah.
The way that he's just zany from the beginning, and he's kicking, and anything he does with his own Jim Carrey style, and it's fantastic.
Jim Carrey is of the all, I think, this one. The way he acts, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's playing himself in the other ones, you know, in the next ones.
So in the movie, he rescues the Shih Tzu and takes it to the Mija in the apartment. And as a reward, gets a BJ from the Mija.
Yeah. I when I saw it was out with my dad took us, man. We were like, oh my God.
And you're 12 and you're like looking at the hot lady.
Yeah, we all serious, you know, oh, big titties. We never thought it could suck his, you know, could have BJ. We were like, oh, yeah. Cool dad.
Yeah. Did you recognize the landlord, douche?
Salamanca.
Simon. I was going to say a young Salamanca is in there, but he's not young. Yeah. He looks the same.
He looks the same.
He looks like an old guy. He's just chilling there. He plays the landlord. I love the bit right after where he wants no animals in the apartment and he's jiggling the keys and they all hide and they all know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, like a code.
Yeah, and they come flooding in while he's just standing there. We also find a young, beautiful Courtney Cox. Mije.
Mm-hmm.
Were you Mijaing her over there back in the day when you were 12 years old?
Yeah. I didn't know her that much until I saw Friends. Oh, that's the girl from Ace Ventura.
Yeah, this is before Friends and before Scream. We see a young, beautiful Courtney Cox, which is kind of funny that she hated the experience of filming this movie. So much so that she hasn't seen it.
Come on, really?
She refuses to watch it. There's a story that Jennifer Aniston took the movie over for like a movie night and she refused to watch it.
No way. Come on.
She should. It's an all-time classic. It's a fantastic movie. Courtney, I know you're watching this. You should watch the first Ace Ventura. It's fantastic.
It looks like you had a great time with him, you know? Who wouldn't?
There was a stupid scene that just made me laugh, and it's like I went deep in it, so deep that it's like I felt like I was wasting my time. But when he first meets her, right, and he walks in the office and he's eating the seeds in the office.
Oh yeah.
There's just so many layers of comedy right there. Him doing it all wrong is one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's while he's being shown the case that he has to take on. So he's not really paying attention, but he is paying attention. But he's distracting us with how he's eating the sunflower seeds. He doesn't know how to eat the sunflower seeds. That's how I used to eat sunflower seeds as a kid. And then she offers him an ashtray and he's like, no, that's disgusting. And all the seeds are grossly in his mouth. That's brilliant. There's just so many levels of that. You can almost see where it was going. and the fact that it landed where it needed to, it's still fantastic. I just love that scene. It's so stupid. It's just it's so brilliant, man. The way it's building, the way the whole scene is building, I loved it so much.
Would you like an ashtray?
I don't smoke. It's a disgusting habit.
Then you got the camera angle that is now a meme where he's looking inside the fish tank.
Oh, yeah.
That's so stupidly funny too, because it's like just Jim with a camera. You know, that's how talented this guy is, and always gonna be. Just go look goofy in front of this camera, and he does it. It's just brilliant. So when he gets back to the police station, the way he walks in is a meme too. Me walking in late, knowing I can't be fired or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, which is funny, especially by looking how he's entering the police station in this specific scene, is that he based his whole performances on birds. The color he's wearing are loud like birds. The hair is kind of like bird-like. The walk. He based his whole performance around how birds move to attract others and just to be loud. He also improvised a lot of it, which it's kind of easy to tell, especially when the most iconic line of the whole movie.
Alrighty then.
That was part of his stand-up that he eventually adopted and used for the movie.
Alrighty then. And the faces that he makes, you know, is funny too.
Which is weird to me that, because like what I said in the beginning, that I only knew Ace Ventura Dos for a long time.
Yeah.
It feels like this is copying Dos, but I never understood why a lot of people didn't like Dos. And it's because he copy and pasted a lot of stuff in Dos.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is that I saw it the other way around.
I think there was too much in the Dos, the copy pasting.
They did copy paste a lot, and I think that's why people don't like Dos. But because I watched Dos first, I'm like, this is amazing. What is wrong with y'all?
The first one is gold standards.
Right, and he, like, him talking out of his ass is also something that he does a little bit less in the second one, but he does it as well. He does it a lot here.
Can I please have a binaca? When the binaca was the back then, you know?
This is where we meet Lieutenant Einhorn, which because I already knew the twist going in the movie, the first thing that he says to her is Holy Testicle Tuesday, which is a giant hint right there.
Holy Testicle Tuesday.
There are a lot of Easter eggs that later on I catch up. Whereas younger, you don't notice that. You know?
Every moment throughout the movie, though, Jim Carrey is Ace. He doesn't take any breaks from being Ace Ventura, right? With all his catchphrases that I mentioned, La who's a her, take care now, bye-bye then, all that, like a glove, all those. He just doesn't stop coming with all these fire phrases. And it's not like, oh, they don't hit. Every single one of the catchphrases is fantastic.
Yeah, they're hits.
The first thing I start to think of a theory. I got a theory, douche.
Okay.
My theory is Ace Ventura is acting super extra and goofy and wild on purpose to create a distraction within himself, like he does in the very beginning of the movie, right? He's wild, he's crazy, he distracts the guy by just being himself, and he was able to take the doggy away and take it to the hoe, you know?
The hoe.
In both movies, there's probably like a couple conversations. In this movie, it comes with the nerd after the mosh pit. That was hilarious when he's dancing and jumping up and down. I love that. Yeah. But he has a serious conversation with that nerd guy, right? Like, hey, I need to find Snowflake. And he's not cracking jokes and he's not doing any of the other stuff. And in the second one, I can't particularly remember exactly when, but he also has a conversation, a serious conversation there. So he's being extra on purpose, in my theory, to be able to distract people to get what he needs.
Ronald Camp, the billionaire?
Yeah, billionaire and rare fish collector.
But to counter argue my own theory, he does do crazy wild when he's by himself, like when he's in the party. So I was kind of like, is he doing that just to stay super meta within the character, or is my theory correct? First of all, let me know down in the comments what you think. Now, what do you think, douche?
I think that's his character, you know? Himself is like that. I don't think it's on purpose.
Damn. My big ass theory was denied.
But I mean, he's crazy ass. Man.
Yeah, he's crazy ass, and I love, especially in that part right there where I'm talking about with the shark, we get like the Mission Impossible silly music, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the actual Mission Impossible music, but they kind of put us in his mind as if that's going on in his mind because he's being all weird and goofy. But when the shark eventually does pop out, it looked very familiar to another shark movie I know, because he's not looking at the water and he's throwing something, right? And then the shark comes out, very similar to Jaws. And instead of him standing up not doing anything, he stands up and it's a close-up when he's moving his face all weird before he falls into the water.
I like when Melissa plays along with the plans of Ace, you know? He plays so goofy and she's like this Stacy character, you know, and like she likes it too.
But we do get to see Don Shula. You know Don Shula, douche? He's the football coach. He's the coach that has the most wins in football history. He's the guy that sticks his hand inside the mailbox. Well, he's looking for the ring. He got the gay guy at the urinal. That was funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I laugh a lot when he like arm wrestle. He put a beard.
Yeah.
To look tougher.
That whole segment is great. But then it comes crashing down, letting us know that the Miami Dolphin employee deaded himself from the hotel.
Roger Predactor.
When Ace walks in the apartment, he's holding the doggy barks at the lieutenant.
So, animals can sense evil.
Yeah.
That's another clue. That's another one that they're letting you know what's going on. I love that.
And she always pissed, you know?
Right. They also like do a lot of shots of her making faces, but they make it look like she's just annoyed at Ace at all time. But it's more like, oh, he's onto me. I gotta, there's so much layer just with her acting as well too. If you watch it now with that perspective, knowing what happens, you can spot all these things very easily. It's right there.
Ace, he's an actual detective, but you know that she isn't really a detective, you know?
I love when he's running down everything right of the crime scene.
Yeah.
And then he's singing through the door. That's another funny thing that is necessary to prove a point. It's not just done just for shits and giggles. He needs to do that to prove a point that homie couldn't dead it himself.
I mean, he looks at detail, you know, like he found the stain of blood over the fence.
Yeah.
And the forensic didn't notice that.
Well, that was also part of the original script too, that they wanted Ace to be a moron. And Carrey was like, okay, I'll do the movie, but he has to be good at what he does. He can't be an idiot. Because then we're just, what are we doing here, right?
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
So it makes it even better in another dimension that he's so wild, goofy, quirky, and wild, but everybody puts up with him because he's good at his job and he's doing what he needs to be doing. If not, he's just wasting our time.
Like the police guys, they don't take him too seriously because he's a pet detective, you know. They don't care about much about pets like he does.
I did like that we get like a little peek into the past with a joke, right? Because he tries to bite her or whatever. But I also appreciate that there's really no need for like this giant origin story as where he come from or whatever. I feel like if they were to do a third movie, they would do that into why is he acting that way? What's his trauma? I bet you he would be stuck in the 90s. He wouldn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? And they would probably partner his daughter or partner somebody young with him to be like showing him the ropes, and he don't know what a GPS is. I just can already see how much laziness would go into a third movie that I'm kind of hopeful that it's never going to be made.
Because they already made a junior detective, right?
Yeah, which I look like that kid grew up now. That's exactly what I'm cosplaying right now. Shout outs. Ace and Courtney Cox banging it out in front of the Aminos. That was kind of cool. Sure.
And we watched with my dad. It was like, that happened too. Then, whoa. Thank you, Dad.
But then we get into the laces out of it all. I love how much Mama Finkel hates Dan Marino. It's great. Die. And she was like, that bastard Marino.
Yeah.
Dan Marino should die of gonorrhea and rot in hell. Would you like a cookie, son?
And then he starts to figure it out. He heads back to the police station and he's actually telling the bad guy that he's got the guy. It was Ray Finkel. He did it. But he don't know that he's talking to Ray Finkel. And then she jumps on him and kisses him. And here's another hint where he says,
Your gun is digging into my hip.
Yeah, there's two hints, right? That scene.
Yeah.
She goes to the bathroom.
Uh-huh.
You could hear the pee.
I don't think she goes to the bathroom way.
Yeah.
She washes her hands.
No, she go pee.
You think so? I'm gonna double back because I don't think she was standing peeing.
Hey, by the way, I went ahead and solved that pesky Snowflake Pedactor Moreno thing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you ever heard of a former Dolphin kicker named Ray Finkel?
He does give another hint, and your gun is digging into my hip.
Yeah, it's sticking to my hip, and then she pulls some more. Oh, it goes. Damn.
And it works because the lieutenant is fine. She's a mija too. You don't want to say that she's fine.
Yeah, she's fine. Yeah.
So after that, it leads us to the Shady Acres where he's pretending to be Larry. That's probably another iconic moment, you know, when he's Larry that whole time. When he's doing the instant replay in the office, that's fantastic. Oh, yeah. The touchdown dance is another meme. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. Did you catch that when he's going into the half, right? When he's drinking the water? Mm-hmm. And he slams his face on the cushion and he does it so hard. You can tell that even the actor who's playing the doctor can't hold it in because he starts to chuckle.
I mean, how are you going to have fun with Jim Carrey? Come on, Courtney.
Or try to be serious. Like, don't laugh. It's like, bro, come on, man. How do you want me not to laugh?
Yeah.
And of course, by today's standards, this whole section is considered homophobic, but it was still funny as hell. He burns the clothes. He's being super homophobic, honestly. The joke is that he's homophobic. And then later at the end, everybody else is also homophobic. So
yeah,
he reveals the titties. He reveals Mija's banging body. And then again, she tucking. And this is when the whole thing happens.
It was real that he was Ray Finkel.
Yeah, and he was a puta too, because everybody starts spitting. Apparently she'd been kissing everybody.
Yeah, she'd been kissing everybody.
And he saves Snowflake and Dan Marino, and he saves the movie. But as a football fan, the first thing I thought was there was no way in hell Dan Marino would have been able to go back to play because he didn't dress for the game. Therefore, he wouldn't have been eligible to not play, so he can't just show up on the field on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, but they know what he was missing. I mean, they know he was missing. So
right, so so they would have replaced him with like an extra quarterback or something. IRL, Dan Marino wouldn't have been able to play.
Okay, but it's a movie.
I know it's a movie.
Not a douche.
I'm not on it. It's the facts. Okay. But of course, this movie leads to the sequel, When Nature Calls, which again I love, and I can't wait to do that one for you guys. But in 2017, they were planning to reboot Ace Ventura, where he would pass it on to his child. Exactly what I guess was going to happen. They were gonna do something similar. I guess even themselves were ignoring the Pet Detective Jr. straight to DVD movies.
Yeah.
But how perfect is Jim Carrey as Ace Ventura? Like, you would think they wrote it for him, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't like that. The script was there first, and it was done by Jack Bernstein and later tweaked by the director Tom Shadyac. So when they had this script, they actually had Rick Moranis in mind. Hell no.
No.
The answer is hell no.
No.
It would have been a totally different movie. He wouldn't have been as wild, and he wouldn't have offered as much energy as Ace Ventura that we know now. It would have been a totally different character. So lucky for us, he was doing Flintstones at the time and turned it down. Then they had Judd Nelson, the bad boy from The Breakfast Club. He was also considered. And the wildest one to me was they also had Alan Rickman considered for Ace Ventura.
No.
That's wild. I can't see that.
Yeah.
I guess they wanted it to be a little bit more serious, right? Because their acting chops provide something completely different than what Jim Carrey does.
But it's right off like a comedy, right? Or it's more like a...
It was supposed to be a comedy. He was a goofy detective the whole time. He was supposed to be a moron. I can't see Alan Rickman playing a moron in any way, shape, or form.
No.
So at this point, they're chugging along with their script without an Ace Ventura. They struggled so much that they even considered making Ace Ventura a lady. And the lady they had in mind was one Whoopi Goldberg.
Okay.
She was popping in the 90s, man. That would have been cool. I think out of all those, I think I would prefer a Whoopi Ace Ventura than the other three. But the producers caught wind of Jim Carrey on In Living Color, and he was immediately casted. He was super involved, helping rewriting the script and developing the character himself, as I already mentioned. Without Carrey, this character wouldn't even exist. No way in hell. Of course, let us know your thoughts down in the comments of what do you think of this movie, Jim Carrey, anything at all. Let us know down below. I really do miss like crazy character-driven movies like we did in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But the more I thought about it, I realized it's because we don't have actors that bring these characters to life anymore. Those are few or far between, or if they are out there, studios don't want to bank on those kind of characters. Right after the movie, of course, what happens in the 90s is you get an animated series. You remember watching the show?
Yeah, I remember watching the cartoons.
What is funny enough that Seth MacFarlane was a writer on the show. And there was a lot of poopy caca, goofy humor like that, right? I'm sure he used that for his future mega hit in Family Guy. But what is also pretty cool is that another Jim Carrey property also had a spin-off cartoon in The Mask, and they actually had an episode where Ace Ventura and The Mask cross over.
I saw that one too, man.
You know what else we saw, Douche? The Mask, which you and I reviewed right over here.
That's right.
Make sure you click on that and watch that. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and remember to always and forever, you do you.
Alrighty then.